Good evening, friends, and welcome to our church. I see a few new faces. Have we got anybody here for the first time? Oh my goodness, quite a few. Well, an extra special welcome to you. That's nice to see so many new faces. Right, now I'm going to welcome our medium for this evening. We've got our own Ricky here tonight from our own church. Also, if you have a mobile phone, could I ask you to please switch it off? Thank you. And now we will start. Just to let you know why the camera's here this evening, we are broadcasting live to the world basically, but the filming will stop when the messages start. We're just going to film the first part of the service to let people in other countries see how we run a divine service in Scotland. Okay? And we're going to start our service by singing hymn number 12, Morning Has Broken. If you can, please stand. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlight from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden so play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of a new day. Thank you very much for that. Now, we're going to do the opening prayer, so if you please bow your heads and join me. Father, Mother, God, Divine and Loving Spirit, we thank you for Mother Earth. We thank you for making it possible for everybody to come to our church this evening. We would ask that you send healing out round the world to where it's needed most. We'd ask for a healing for Mother Earth herself. We'd ask for a healing for all children who are suffering in any way. We'd ask for a healing for the animal kingdom. We ask that you bring the medium's workers through this evening to give evidence to everyone sitting here, to show people that there is no death, our soul simply lives on. We ask that you guard, guide and protect us as we go forward with our service this evening. We ask all of this in your name, which is love. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Now I'm going to ask Elspeth to come forward and give us the reading for this evening. Thank you.
Good evening, friends.
Good evening.
Tonight's reading is called Live a Life That Matters. Ready or not, someday it will all come to an end. There will be no more sunrises, no minutes, hours or days. All the things you collected, whether treasured or forgotten, will pass to someone else. Your wealth, fame and temporal power will shrivel to irrelevance. It will not matter what you owned or what you were owed. Your grudges, resentments, frustrations and jealousies will finally disappear. so too your hopes, ambitions, plans and to-do lists will expire. The wins and losses that once seemed so important will fade away. It won't matter where you came from. It won't matter whether you were beautiful or brilliant. Even your gender and skin colour will be irrelevant. So what will matter? What will matter is not what you brought, but what you built. Not what you got, but what you gave. What will matter is not your success, but your significance. What will matter is not what you learned, but what you taught. What will matter is every act of integrity, compassion, courage or sacrifice that enriched, empowered or encouraged others to emulate your example. What will matter is not your competence, but your character. What will matter is not how many people you knew, but how many people will feel a lasting loss when you're gone. What will matter is not your memories, but the memories that live on in those who loved you. What will matter is how long you will be remembered and for what. Living a life that matters doesn't happen by accident, it happens by choice. May God add a blessing to the reading.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Elspeth. That was lovely. Now, friends, this is your time to do a little bit of work. I would ask you to go into the silence and send out healing thoughts to those you know. If you're lucky enough not to know anyone who needs healing, if you could send your healing out to Mother Earth and to all who need a bit of healing at this time. All those in the world who are affected by war. As I said earlier, the animal kingdom. Just please bow your heads and go into the silence. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to go forward and sing the second hymn, which is my personal favourite, hymn number 2, All Through the Night. Again, if you can, please stand. Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. Guardian angels God will send thee all through the night. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping. Love alone her vigil keeping all through the night. While the moon her watch is keeping all through the night. While the weary world is sleeping all through the night. O'er the Spirit gently stealing, visions of delight revealing,
leaves a pure and holy feeling all through the night.
Thank you very much, that was lovely. Now I'm going to ask Elspeth to come forward and do the address for this evening.
My apologies for a double whammy of me, but needs must. For those of you who haven't been at a church service before, the address often links into the reading, but what most mediums or most people who are on the platform to do the address will tell you is that they don't necessarily know before they come up exactly what they're going to speak about. Now, I have got a rough idea what I'm going to speak about, and it's actually, for those of you who have been to church before, you'll know of Callie, the medium. Callie Fitzsimmons was Callie Forbes, and on her page I had seen a quote and I thought that's quite good. Now, it's from Winston Churchill, and it's success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm. Now, I'm not talking about Boris, definitely, but this sounds bad because I am talking about my little granddaughter, who will be 1 at the end of this month. Now, she does not make me think of Winston Churchill when I look at her. She is actually a very attractive little girl. She's in fact a beautiful little girl, huge big eyes. But what I was watching, because now I'm on granny duty 3 days a week, so I go along, and the first thing you really have to do is kind of win over their trust, because although I had been along, you have to win that trust so that she'll know that when it's me in the morning that our mum and dad will be coming home later on, that it's not when we go and we wave our mum off. My daughter's a teacher, as I used to be myself, and when I, with a great grin on my face, wave my daughter off to school in the morning holding Sophia has to know that that's okay, she's with somebody that she can trust. And we've reached that stage and we're quite happy. So now the thing that I notice is that because I see her Tuesday to Thursday every week, each time I go back on the Tuesday, there's something that I notice that's different. She's at that age and stage where she's making great strides. But not quite literally making great strides, because that's the stage she's at just now. She crawls and she's wanting to be able to walk, but she's not there yet. And she'll pull herself up on virtually anything, often a leg, often the couch, often a table, anything at all. She'll pull herself up and she's so proud of herself, and she stands there until her wee legs just aren't quite sure what they're supposed to do now, and she just lands. Sometimes gently, sometimes not quite so gently. But the point is, she doesn't give up. She doesn't just turn around and say, do you know, I've spent all day, I've got up there and I just keep falling over again. I doubt this walking isn't for me. She doesn't do that, because that's not in her mindset yet. And I think that is the sad thing. When you watch a wee one like that, they don't have an expectation that this time I should be able to do it, and if I can't do it, I'm a failure. And it's where does that actually change? Now, I was a primary teacher, and I used to actually talk about that to the children in my class, that if babies gave up, nobody would ever walk, no one would ever crawl, no one would ever even sit up, if you gave up when you failed. I used to tell them that if you look at a whole class full of children, you wouldn't have everybody in that class all started to crawl on the same day. They wouldn't all have started to walk on the same day. They wouldn't all have started to talk on the same day. So why would we expect that they would all be able to read on the same day? That they would all be able to master their tables on the same day? But somewhere along the line, something happens where our mindset changes and we suddenly look to failure and look to what is my failure going to look like to other people. And that continues throughout our lives. It starts in childhood. It starts very young in childhood. Does it start with the children themselves? Does it start with the parents? I wish I knew. Because if I knew, I would have been able to help a lot more children. But we go through our lives, and if we don't succeed the first time or the second time, then we just decide that something isn't for us. Now, for a lot of people here, in fact for everyone, you haven't come through this door if you aren't, and pardon the strictly phrase, if you aren't on some kind of journey. Now, for some people, this might be the first time you've walked through the door of a spiritualist church. You don't really know what happens. Maybe you didn't even want to come. Maybe somebody's dragged you along here. Maybe you're here purely because you're curious. Maybe you're here because you want to be able to come to a service and go out there and say, I've been to a service and I don't believe a word of it because. But most people will come back. And they'll come back because even if they want to disbelieve, there'll be something tonight that you'll hear. There'll be something, it might not be for you, but you might realise that, you know, these people could take all that, and it's impossible that the medium would be able to know that. Because we don't know who's going to walk in the door. We don't know who's going to come here. We can't get Facebook accounts and look it up and find out all about the people who are going to walk through the door. We've no way of knowing who's going to come in. We have to trust in spirit. And again, it comes down to trust. And when you do trust, then you can relax. Because you know that if you are able to trust, then somebody has your back. And for all of us here, there will be lots of people up there who have our backs, who are watching out for us, who are watching us take these faltering steps, who are watching us go from one disaster to another. And they'll be up there saying, well, I hope they've learned this time. Because that's why we're here. We're here to learn. And they're up there and they're going, oh, they didn't listen. I tried to help them. They weren't listening. And we have to trust and believe and listen and watch for signs and be ready to accept when these signs come to us, as they will to all of us. So if this is your first time, then enjoy what you hear, because I know you will. You'll be fascinated by it. And if you want to question it, because that's what we should all do. We should all question. You don't just believe everything you hear. You try and think, well, could they have found that out? But the answer will be almost always no. Someone is up there, somebody is connecting with you because you are a very important person to them. And here's where I connect to my reading, just like my reading. I managed to do it. But if you can make a difference while you're down here, then when you're up there and you're looking down on these people that you made a difference to, you're still going to want to be helping them. You're still going to want to be guiding them. You're still going to want to be there for them. And I think it would be a very sad life to lead if you didn't have that belief that the people that you loved and who helped you when they were here were just completely gone, that they're not still there doing it now. And tonight and every night in churches like this is where we bring forward the proof that these loved ones are still here and are still helping you, so that when you fall down, you're able to pick yourself up and keep going, like my little Winston Churchill granddaughter. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Elspeth. And very true, I'm sure we can all take something from Elspeth's address there. Now, we're going to sing the third hymn, and if you remain seated for this, and it's hymn number 19, with a bit of upliftment. I danced in the morning when the world was begun. I danced in the morning when the world was begun. I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun. My spirit came and danced on the earth. In each of you I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, says he. I dance for the healing which cured the lame, for those who grieve and feel the pain. I dance for those who cannot see why life is eternal and you can't die. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, says he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, says he. I dance for all those who would listen to me, but some would not dance and they wouldn't follow me. I dance for the wise who know life goes on. They came with me and the dance went on. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, says he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, says he. Life is a dance that goes on eternally. I am the life, so come and follow me. I live in you and you live in me. I am the Lord of the dance, says he. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, says he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, says he. Thanks very much. Now I'm going to say goodbye to our friends who are watching us live, because we're now going to shut down, because the medium's going to come forward and give messages to people in the congregation. Good night and thank you. Bye. Thanks very much. Now I'm going to say goodbye to our friends who are watching us live, because we're now going to shut down, because the medium's going to come forward and give messages to people in the congregation. Good night and thank you.
Bye. Yeah.
The medium Ricky then worked on platform, or gallery as it's called in the States, for just under 1 hour, delivering non-stop messages. Dunfermline Spiritualist Church, like all churches in Scotland, is a charity. If you would like to send a donation to the church, please send it by PayPal to Dunfermline Spiritualist Church at yahoo.com. Dunfermline Spiritualist Church will be hosting the third training course that we are running through traditional Scottish spiritual training, covering mediumship and spiritualism in Scotland, with an emphasis on working through spiritualist churches. The course also covers how to set up and run such a church. If you're a Scottish church and would like any help or advice in broadcasting a service like this, please feel free to contact us via our Facebook page or our website, traditionalscottishspiritualtraining.com, obviously on Facebook without the .com. Thank you for watching this video. Please share this video as much as possible, and may Spirit go with you. Thank you.